touch, and genetically of sight, sound, taste, or even mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. There's a signpost up ahead. Next stop, Jake Stief's. Hi, I'm Jake Stief, and on today's episode of Bacon Jake, I'm going to show you how to make dinner rolls that taste just like the ones at Lambert's Cafe. Lambert's Cafe, home of the throw rolls. The dinner roll is a round-shaped piece of bread whose origin is somewhere around Europe. In Germany, they're generally called Brötchens. To start, we will use 4 cups of all-purpose flour, or bread flour. Bread flour is better because these are bread rolls, of course. 1/4 cup of warm water, a cup of warm milk, and 3/4 stick of butter, or 6 tablespoons, or 3/8 cup of butter. 1/4 cup of sugar, plus 1 teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, a package of dry active yeast, or 2 1/4 teaspoon, an egg, some homemade beef jerky to snack on while you're making the food,
Ooh.
and some sort of dinner to have the rolls go with. Now we're going to add the package of dry yeast, the teaspoon of sugar, and our 1/4 cup of warm water, about 100-115 degrees. Mix that up. And let it set for about 10 to 15 minutes. Let the yeast eat the sugar, turn it into alcohol and CO2. I'll show you how that works in just a moment. As you can see, this yeast is very hungry, and it wants to eat the sugar molecule and rip it apart. Over time, it begins to eat it and rip it apart and just break down its molecular structure into nothing. Once the yeast has eaten the sugar, the only thing it really does to it is breaks it down and uses the energy that holds the molecules together. Then it expels the leftover waste and poops it out, basically, as the form of 2 carbon dioxide molecules, CO2, and 2 ethyl alcohol molecules.
Yeah!
Carbon, hydrogen 3, carbon, hydrogen 2, oxygen, hydrogen. Now this is what you use for making beer, and this CO2 that it produces is perfect for raising bread and stuff like that. Now, don't worry, it doesn't have time to ferment and create much alcohol in your bread. And anything that is in there will be burned out, so it doesn't really matter. Then the yeast goes on to eat more sugar and expel more gases. So we've melted 4 tablespoons of our 6 tablespoons of butter. Do note that leaves 2 tablespoons left. And after that's all melted, you're going to pour in your 1 cup of milk just to heat it up. Stir that around. And you're going to put that into your mixer's work bowl with the paddle attachment on. And put it on speed about 2, 3. Now pour that in there, along with our 1/4 cup of sugar. You're going to just beat that in there. Now you're going to take your egg, and you're going to separate the yolk from the white. This is optional. If you separate the yolk and the white, it makes it more airy. Just whip the white once you have it separated. You're just going to whisk it like this, and whenever it gets really airy, you'll put it into the mixture. If you used all-purpose flour, you probably should whip your whites because it won't rise as much if you didn't use bread flour. So you might want to just whip it a little bit until it rises. And you're going to pour in your yolk and your whites, your whipped whites, with that mix furthermore. And now, you're going to mix your yeast into your mixture, as well as your salt. Okay, now we're going to mix in the flour, but I find your batter tends to stick to the paddle if you use the paddle, and your dough hook just won't mix everything together. So this you're going to have to do with your hands, whether you like it or not. mixture, dump in about 3 cups of flour. That should be good. And you're just going to knead the dough by hand until all the ingredients are mixed. Your dough should look about like this whenever you're done kneading it. Put that back on. This time you're going to put your dough hook on, the dough hook attachment. And you're going to dump in the rest of your flour. Jesus Christ. And you're going to mix that, you're going to knead that for about 10 to 15 minutes on medium speed. Once your dough is done, not almost done, but done, you're going to set it to bake and bring it to about just 350. Now you're going to take this off, remove from the dough hook, get as much off as you can. Don't want to waste this precious Lambert's Cafe roll dough, now do you? Perfect. I'm going to take this ball of dough and put in about half a tablespoon of vegetable oil. Now you can use some of your leftover butter if you want to, if you don't have oil. I find this is more convenient. Just rub the sides down with that. And you're going to put the dough ball back in, press it out, and cover the remaining surface with vegetable oil. Now you're going to immediately take the heat off of your oven. We just wanted to heat it up a bit so that the yeast has a nice warm place to survive in. I'm going to put a tea towel, tea cloth, over the yeast. You like dark, warm places. Pop that in the oven. Once again, make sure the heat's off, and we're going to let that rise for about an hour or until it's doubled in size. About 5 minutes before your dough is done, you're going to take out 12 muffin tins. I usually use like 2 times 6, that makes 12. You're going to use the remaining butt and your tur to grease down the muffin pan, the muffin tin. You're just going to do that with each hole. By the way, you may want to make sure that this butter is chilled. As you can see in the deleted scenes, it is bad to use warm butter. The reason we use butter instead of spray stuff is because we're going to use the butter later anyway, so might as well use it now and then melt it down and put it over rolls. Now that your yeast batter dough is done, and see that it has grown significantly by forming CO2 from the sugar. You're going to deflate it like this. Just push all the air out of there. And deflate that. See, you have a nice dough ball there. Then you're going to want to divide this into 24 even parts. I find that just by pinching it with your hand like that and rubbing it off is a fair enough size. You can weigh it out, but people like me don't have a scale. So you're just going to want to divide it into 24 balls to 4 muffin tray. And there'll be a little overhang over the top of that. It's just fine. Should be 2 halves just like that. Do the rest with the rest of the... By the time you finish, you'll notice that they've started to rise again already. To get your 12th in there, you may have to mooch some dough off the other rolls, but that's alright. You're going to cover it up with a tea towel again, put it back in the oven, cold oven, so they can rise for about 20 to 25 more minutes. Once there's about 10 minutes left, you can pull your rolls out of the oven and preheat it to 350 degrees. Once your oven's heated up, you're going to want to remove the tea cloth, please. And then put your magnificent rolls in the oven of 350 degrees for approximately 20 to 25 minutes. Or until golden brown, of course. Now that your rolls are done, they should look somewhat like this. You may need to separate them with a knife. They do expand significantly.
Ooh.
Then you're going to melt the remaining butter in a small pan and you're going to glaze over the rolls like so. Now, despite whether you're going to eat these right now or not, you're going to want to glaze the tops of them with melted butter. Then you can eat or put them in the ice box, whatever you want. Once you thaw them back out, you're going to want to put some, or once you take them out of the ice box, if you decide to put them in there, you're going to want to put some more melted butter on them. So you can see this recipe produced some nice, airy, luscious dinner rolls that taste just like the ones at Lambert's Cafe if you ever have been there. They taste great with butter on them, sorghum, molasses, honey, anything you want. And it allows you to split them half really easily so you can put whatever you want on the inside. End up disastrously. You may want this to be chilled before you do it. I'm gonna chill this. I don't want you to film the 25 minutes, you damn fool. Just like the ones at Lambert's. Oh, Jesus Christ, my nose. Oh, Christ. Oh, God. That hurt. Hello, I'm Jake Stief, and in today's episode of Baking, the origin of dinner rolls is unknown. I said it wrong. The dinner roll is generally a round-shaped piece of bread, and its origin is unknown. What?
No need to prop. I know it's good.
The dinner roll is a round-shaped piece of bread that... The dinner roll is a round-shaped piece of bread whose origin is... The dinner roll is a round-shaped piece of bread whose origin... Oh!
Jacob!
In Germany, they're called Brötchens. In Germany, they're generally called Brötchens. Hey, where do you think you're going with that? What's going on here? Hey, that's a good roll. You little. See, folks, even dogs like them.